the majority of the people I work with are absolute experts at their subject and their mission and their programs. There are things like, oh, that's what you want me to do? Oh, well, I can do that. Like,
but that would suggest that you understand what it's like to go from that place of fear and dread to obviously great comfort and coaching. Yeah. So what was that moment for you? How did you get to this place where now you can help people to be comfortable?
I love it.
In the skin?
Yeah, great question. So
again, this is Jay Frost, and of course, this is part of the Mastermind series where we have an opportunity to talk with people who are coming to present in all sorts of ways, including a blog, which we'll talk about in a second. But sitting right here is the fabulous Sherry Quam Taylor. So Sherry, thanks so much for being here.
What an intro. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, we're having a full like snow day here in Chicago today. So I'm really? Glad to be here behind the screen with you.
Oh, wow. So, and we can't look out your window. That would destroy the whole effect.
Yeah, it's white. It's white. But, you know, it is February, but it's like, it's like, oh, really? And snow again? I'm like, it will continue, right?
I wish you could share a little bit of that our way. We haven't had anything resembling winter.
Haven't had it. Yeah, this is not a crazy one, but enough that, you know, slowed the school drop-off commute enough to impact my morning. But, you know, it is what it is.
So do you spend a lot of time working out of your office? Because you do work I should put that in the form of a question. You work in a variety of ways, including coaching people, probably sitting right there at your desk. Is that right?
I do. This is me every day. I just hung up with somebody in Texas, and I'll talk to somebody in Seattle later today. And so I actually, majority of my work is done through virtual coaching. And so my main core program that I do is actually a 90-day Fundraising Accelerator, where I help people really learn how to pivot off of that spin cycle of small gifts and learn, like, what does it look like for me to start bringing in larger funds? And so I was doing earlier on in my business, I'm on the 8th year of my business. I was doing a lot of one-on-one in-person coaching all over Chicagoland and Illinois and Midwest. But I realized that I could be reaching a lot more people if I did this virtually. And I kind of had my methodology down to a science, and my clients were getting great results, that I thought, gosh, I actually could be teaching this to more people, because I do have it in such a system. And so I really pivoted to that. It's been a while ago. And so it really allows me to work with people all over the country and just learn what missions in different communities that I would never set foot in. It's actually one of my most favorite things about what I do, and meeting people that are doing tremendous things all over the country and world, honestly.
And how are people finding you? I mean, there's obviously a hunger for this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a bit about that, and then how they managed to combine forces with you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I built my whole business on referrals. I'm very proud of that. Usually my clients, they're getting great results, so they tell their friends, right? That's the best thing ever. But I do a lot of teaching. You'll see me on LinkedIn pretty much every day. I really use that as a kind of thought platform, if you will. But I do a lot of just national speaking and just networking, honestly. And things like this. And so that leads to referrals, and that leads to podcasts, and that leads to relationships with other consultants in the space that really grow my business. And so I'm the busiest I've been. Right now I'm having a great 2020. And I love what I do. And so I think people kind of feel that, which is wonderful.
It's funny because the way you've titled this flash class that you're doing for DonorSearch is how to confidently ask a donor for a large gift, and then in parentheses, even if you do fundraising. So you love what you do. These people don't necessarily love the idea of fundraising. So how do you get them to,
right?
without giving away the whole session, how do you get them to be a little more favorably inclined to what we do?
Right. And so, most of the people, I tend to work with people who are bringing in kind of in that less than $1 million of charitable giving. And so that might be a smaller founder-led nonprofit that's bringing in $500,000 and it wants to grow. Or it might be a larger organization who is really very heavily dependent on maybe government funding or program revenue, but know they should be bringing in more charitable revenue, but don't totally know how to do that. And so because of that, the majority of the people I work with are absolute experts at their subject and their mission and their programs.
Right.
But they are, social workers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, pastors who maybe didn't plan on getting a nonprofit. And so they haven't ever needed to know how to sit down and ask somebody for $10,000 or $20,000. And so I tend to answer your question, I tend to hear, oh, I hate asking people for money.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm begging, or
Right.
I don't think anybody would give it to us. And so I find that dread of the ask kind of leads to that lack in confidence. And then the other part of that I feel is I get a lot of, well, what am I even going to say when I sit down with them? Like how would I ask? Like practically, How would I ask? But what do they need to know? Who should I be trying to talk to? And so I find that the confidence honestly lies in if you can know what you're bringing to the table and you really feel confident about what you're sharing and you really understand what that donor needs to hear, and then you have a couple really practical tools in your hand, that confidence shift is amazing to watch. I love it. And sometimes I'll hear things like, oh, that's what you want me to do? Oh, well, I can do that. Like, oh, okay, well, that actually makes sense, right?
Overcoming fear.
Yeah, it's overcoming the fear. And so I feel like the confidence comes because there is a step-by-step plan of how to pivot up into those activities that actually bring in larger gifts. And so I kind of am the person who's demystifying that and helping them put a structure in place to kind of reallocate their time and energy into from activities that were maybe just bringing in smaller gifts or restricted gifts, and helping them see the new activities they need to integrate into their day, maybe stop doing some other ones that actually lead to larger gifts. And so I love demystifying that and kind of turning the dreaded fundraiser, the person who dreads fundraising, into somebody who actually enjoys it, because it does happen.
But that would suggest that you understand what it's like to go from that place of fear and dread to obviously great comfort and coaching. Yeah. So what was that moment for you? How did you get to this place where now you can help people to be comfortable? I love it. Skin?
Yeah, great question. So I had a whole corporate career. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know how I got over, here that I'm talking to you today and I'm running my own business. But I was volunteering. I mean, my goodness, 12 plus years ago, I was volunteering pretty much in a full-time job for a nonprofit that I was just really passionate about. And I ended up, long story short is, I ended up actually leaving my corporate position and becoming their first stateside staff member outside of the founder. And, and we knew we were doing great work. We had a great mission. We thought everybody should be giving to it, but it was like, this is way harder than we thought it was, the funding part of it, right? And so we really made that pivot into mid and major level gifts we were very intentional about it and educated ourselves, and actually also hired a consultant to help us. And so we tripled that organization's funding in about 18 months.
Oh, wow.
So it was went from 300 to 900, and it's multi-million today. But other executive directors started kind of coming to us and saying, hold on a second, how are you guys doing this over here? And so I quickly realized, after working for the organization about 3 years and having success in doing it, I was like, I actually feel like I could come alongside other people who have been in my shoes, who are doing amazing work, really passionate about the work, but don't totally know how to pivot into funding that will actually fuel their organization, propel it to grow, and what I would say, fully fund your organization, your programs, your admin, and your fundraising, right? Because we have to be funding everything so we can grow. And so I left that organization and started my own business 8 years ago, doing just that. And so I because I've been in their shoes. And so I think that probably was a lot of my early success, because I was like, I know the feeling. I've cried about that too, but you can go from here to here. So
are you seeing some big changes though along that path? I mean, especially in the last 48 hours, maybe you're getting a few phone calls from clients. As the economy changes, people get comfortable with kind of a certain sequence of events or opportunities. But then, of course, life comes along. Things
Right.
change. Right now, people worry about everything from, I don't know, COVID-19, the coronavirus,
Right. Right.
to the stock market. I mean, there's always something, and sometimes those are very serious, either disruptions or changes,
Right.
modifications. So I'm sure that being in a coaching environment, instead of just, okay, we're going to just execute this capital campaign plan,
Right.
must provide you an opportunity to help them be flexible. So, but are you hearing a lot of that change right now? It's been 8 years. Are you seeing some new things come along?
You know, I was asked that question recently, and sure, I think we're all talking about the things that you just said, but also how are we going to engage with our younger donors who
Mm,
like might be volunteers as well, and there's all of that sort of conversation. But I would, for me, the I guess the word is market. There are so many nonprofits. 77% of nonprofits have never reached $1 million,
right.
and so the pool of people who still just need to kind of embrace the kind of pivot from that reactive, well, if we had the money we'd do it, to
Right.
actually, yeah, we have a $700,000 need this year, could I share with you what that looks like, and to really own that. The need is so huge to still teach that, I guess, is what I'd say.
Right.
And I have people reaching out to me every day who are like, yeah, I want that and I need that, but I don't know how to go from here to here because I'm doing all the things. And my board wants me to start another event, apply for more grants, start a gala, do all the things, but I don't know that that's the right move, right? And so, yes, I want to, we want to kind of watch all this and everything that's going on, but I still see the need for a lot of kind of root work on that steady annual fund. That's making sure that we are putting a plan in place and leading that donor in a really great way to be getting their best gift and then to be getting that gift every year.
Right.
Getting them in that rhythm so you can grow that annual fund. And so I hear you, but I also see so much need, especially for the groups who are under $1 million, for that infrastructure and solid groundwork that actually would allow them to grow and become what they set out to become, right, in the first place.
Sounds like a lot of sobriety to the
Yeah.
field of this
Yes.
frenzied field of fundraising. So no, that's it's very understandable. But I can see that goes over 90 days. So you have a great 90-day program, which I'm sure you'll make reference
Mm-hmm.
to
Happy to.
in the series. But people can turn and learn more about your work at your website. Would you mind sharing what that
Sure.
is for
Yeah.
that
So
and for other things?
yeah. So that is my main program, and I'm happy to share that. So people can go on my website. My name is Sherry Quam Taylor, and so my website is quamtaylor.com, QUAM, and then Taylor. And then my 90-day program is on there. I call it Let's Grow. I also do. Sometimes I'll say, hey, let's just hop on the phone. I'll give you a kind of a free audit and strategy session just to get you kind of thinking a little differently. A lot of this is, oh, I gotta kind of change the way I'm approaching this. So there's some mindset work, here on what those changes need to be. So people can hop over there. I've got tons of resources there. I'm on LinkedIn often, so hop over and follow me there, where I share a lot of content and playbooks and all sorts of free resources.
Yeah, and you're speaking at conferences. In fact, you're doing with the Tony Martinetti's
I
nonprofit
am.
radio show.
Yeah, I am.
This
This
is that
week.
Friday.
Yeah, this is on Friday. We booked it a while ago, and here it is.
Great, great. Well, so people can also listen to you there in advance of your session, which is
Yeah.
going to be, once again, how to confidently ask a donor for a large gift, even if you hate fundraising. That's on Tuesday, March 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, March 3rd, and that will be recorded if people can't attend, so that'll be up on that Flash Class library. You've also contributed very generously a blog. It's going to be posted, in fact, I think it comes out today,
Great.
if I'm not mistaken, on the DonorSearch site at donorsearch.net, and then we'll be having another kind of conversation piggybacking on this as part of the podcast series. So lots of ways to engage with this kind of great sense of how to take a very rational but also heartfelt approach to getting things done and growing that base of support.
So
Thank you
important.
very much, Sherry, for sharing some of this in advance.
Thanks for having me, Jay. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Hey, if you want to stay up to date in our videos and other content, make sure to subscribe down below and ring that notification bell. Thanks.